Hi. Today we will explain the storyline of the movie Please Come With Me, which was released in 2018. Okay, let's get straight to the story. Colin and Kate are a couple and work together. Kate is a stylist and assistant for the photo shoots of Colin, who is a photographer. Actually, they plan to get married next year. However, Kate wants to work as a clothing designer, so she is continuing her fashion education in San Francisco. She then introduced Colin to Alex to replace her at any time. Kate feels that Alex is the right person to replace her because she can also style and do makeup. While Colin continued with the photo shoot, Alex and Kate chatted. Kate said that she was moving to San Francisco. Her class schedule was mostly Monday to Wednesday, so she still had long weekends left and could look for a part-time job. That night, Kate asked Colin's opinion of Alex, but Colin couldn't say much because he would have to see how Alex performed when they started working. Colin then continued his work in the apartment. Kate tried to convince him once again how they would meet, and Colin promised to visit Kate every week. On the other hand, Kate felt that Colin spent more time working, and their relationship was close only because of work. But Colin felt the opposite. He felt he had devoted what he could do to stay with Kate. The next day, Kate went out with her friend, Erin. Kate said that she and Colin had looked at rings, but Colin hadn't proposed yet. She assumed Colin wanted to be financially stable first. After all, Kate still had to continue her education. Kate was sure Colin wanted to marry her too, but he was just waiting for the right time. She then ran into Joey, her writer friend, and they had a brief conversation before parting ways. The following month, Colin drove Kate home to her apartment in San Francisco, where Kate lived with her roommate, Charles. Charles had just graduated with a bachelor's degree and was trying to apply for a job in finance. Seeing Charles's appearance, Colin became a little jealous, but Kate suggested that they spend time hanging out together to get to know Charles better. That night, the three of them went out to eat and take a walk. Then the next day, Colin and Kate said goodbye. After a month had passed, Kate and Colin were still in touch. Kate suggested that Colin move in with her because Kate was starting to feel like she didn't have much time to see Colin often. Kate knew that Colin had no photo shoots scheduled for the next 3 days, so why not just spend time together here? But Colin said he had a lot of photo editing to do and couldn't do it just anywhere, especially not at a stranger's house. On the other hand, Colin was also tired of having to drive 5 or 6 hours alone. They again disagreed about the time they should spend so they could see each other often. Colin tended to prioritize his work. He supported Kate in pursuing her dreams, but he couldn't go back and forth once a week. Kate reminded them that long-distance relationships wouldn't be easy, but she promised they would try their best. That night, Kate stayed at Colin's apartment and they wouldn't see each other for a few weeks because Colin would be busy. Alex started working as Colin's photography assistant. The following month, Kate visited Colin, who was handling an engagement photo shoot. After working as an assistant for a while, Alex confessed to Kate that she admired Kate's resilience at work, which Alex thought was quite tiring. That night, Kate admitted that she felt a little jealous that her boyfriend was now spending more time with Alex, especially since Alex had just broken up with her boyfriend. Kate quipped that Colin now had a new drinking buddy, namely Alex. Colin realized that Kate was a little jealous of Alex, even though she herself had recommended Alex as her replacement. Kate found it difficult to get rid of her jealousy, considering that she was far away in San Francisco, alone, and only working and studying. Colin then asked about Charles, but Kate said that they didn't interact often, let alone hang out together. Charles is not the type who likes to hang out outside and tends to be a homebody. However, Colin suggested that Kate go out with Charles often, so that she wouldn't think too much about it. Besides, according to Colin, Charles was pretty cool and he needed to hang out often. Although she didn't really agree, Kate finally followed Colin's advice. Colin couldn't sleep that night. He felt like something was different about their relationship. After the meeting, Kate returned to San Francisco and concentrated on her fashion school. She began to have difficulty contacting Colin, and her calls often went to his voicemail. Gradually, she couldn't contain her suspicions and chose to take her mind off things by hanging out with Charles. That night, she began to interact with Charles more often. She decided to get used to the changes that were happening in her relationship with Colin. Colin only returned Kate's call that night because he was worried because Kate had called him 4 times that day. At the time, Colin still had to work, so he couldn't talk to Kate much. Kate started to feel something was unusual, but Colin reminded her again that this was a mutual decision. Shortly afterwards, Colin sent a text to say that he was going for a drink with Alex. Kate felt very jealous, so she decided to invite Charles out for a drink with her. After the drink, Kate asked for a cigarette from a strange man who was smoking outside, and they chatted casually. It turned out that the man was also a wedding photographer like Colin. He said that he had worked as a style director for Colin's photo shoot. Kate intended to show him their portfolio photos, but instead became jealous of the photos Colin had sent after drinking with Alex. This made her feelings for Colin a little different. In fact, she decided to sleep with Charles that night. The next morning, Colin called. He was worried about Kate, who didn't pick up the phone right away. He also wanted to apologize for feeling that he didn't pay enough attention to Kate, but actually he was upset because Kate couldn't fly to his place and meet him on the weekend. On the other hand, Kate felt guilty for sleeping with Charles. Since that phone call, Colin felt a change in Kate's attitude. He tried to contact Kate often and not focus on work. But Kate didn't tell him much. In fact, she tended not to respond to Colin's messages as often as before. Colin became restless. One day, Alex visited him at his apartment just to check on her coworker. He confided in Alex that Kate had been unresponsive for a month, and he thought their decision was a mistake. He felt something was wrong and wanted to fix it. They had been together for over 5 years, so he could tell something was wrong. But he couldn't find the right time to go to San Francisco with their busy work schedules, and Alex tried to calm him down by saying that maybe Kate was just busy. To help Colin, Alex called Kate. Alex said Colin felt that Kate was ignoring him. However, Kate's response was quite cold. She was quite busy and only promised to update Colin. Feeling upset, Kate finally sent Colin a voicemail that she was coming home. The next day, Colin cleaned the house to welcome Kate. Then in the evening, he picked her up at the airport. However, they didn't talk much during the trip until Kate decided to admit something to Colin. Over the next period of time, their relationship was really more distant, not as intense as it used to be. Day after day passed without much conversation. Colin even seemed unenthusiastic about the activities they were going to do together. He preferred to play video games and only went out if Kate asked. But he tried hard to appear enthusiastic about their relationship, which had reached the middle of the year. One day, they went hiking while exercising. Kate tried to repair their relationship, but Colin still ignored Kate. Kate decided to communicate about it. Colin was still angry at Kate for having the nerve to cheat on him, and he was not ready to forget the incident. For a month, he still couldn't forget it. Kate kept trying to apologize and asked him to move on, but Colin couldn't forgive Kate for cheating on him just because she suspected he was with Alex. Kate suggested they break up, but Colin didn't want to give up. He continued their relationship, but he just couldn't forgive Kate, so they broke up for a while. Sometime later, Kate went on vacation to her parents' house. Kate's brother, Patrick, noticed Colin's absence and tried to talk to Kate about it. Kate said that Colin needed time to separate temporarily, but she hadn't told their mother about their relationship because she knew she liked Colin. At midday, they went for a walk together and chatted in the park. Patrick admitted that he liked Colin's personality, but he thought Colin lacked commitment from the start. According to Patrick, if he still wants to work on his relationship with Colin, Colin must also make an effort because only Kate seems to be trying. This conversation with Patrick made Kate even more confused about the future of their relationship. Meanwhile, Colin also returned to his hometown. He met up with old friends and attended a party at a friend's house. Even though there were many beautiful girls at the party, Colin was not excited without Kate. Colin's friends also invited him to a bar and to meet a new girl, but he still felt empty. After that, he continued spending his nights hanging out with friends and dating different girls. But even so, Colin still couldn't forget Kate. He went to see his friend, Dave, and tried to talk about how he felt. Dave then tried to give his perspective when he and his girlfriend Megan broke up. Like Colin, Dave was also the type to run to work when there were problems with Megan, so he decided to see Megan's side and work on their relationship. Here, he advised Colin to talk to Kate. That night, while tidying up her room, Kate looked at her photos with Colin and started to cry. Unlike Colin, Kate focused on her studies. She wasn't looking for another man. Meanwhile, her friends tried to find dates for her on the app. Her friends thought it was the right way to meet new guys in the big city. At first, Kate was lazy because she preferred to meet someone in person, but after a month had passed, she followed her friend's advice. Kate decided to go for a drink with Joey, a former work colleague. Joey seemed happy with their meeting, especially because he had always liked Kate, but their meeting that day was more like two friends. On the way home, Kate ran into Alex. Alex then told her what Colin did during the time they worked together. Unlike what Kate had expected, Alex said that Colin didn't have fun that often. He was actually at home more often and smoking. The next day, Colin called Kate and asked her to meet. They then met at Colin's photo studio and exchanged news for a moment. Colin then said that he couldn't pretend that he accepted the decision to continue the long-distance relationship before. He thought Kate wanted to break up with him, but Kate thought the opposite. She wanted to pursue what she aspired to. Colin still loved Kate and wanted to continue the relationship, but his little heart still felt that Kate wasn't really sorry and kept looking for excuses. Kate tried to explain how truly sorry she was and that she had made a fatal mistake. When she was about to leave to continue her studies, Kate thought Colin would propose to her or at least talk about wedding plans, but Colin didn't. Kate wanted to feel safe and be Colin's partner, but Colin still couldn't trust Kate, especially after Kate cheated on him. Kate said she would show her commitment to repairing the relationship if Colin was willing and still loved her, so she left the choice up to Colin. After their meeting, Kate started looking for a new apartment, while Colin himself returned to his apartment and began to take down photos with Kate on the wall. He continued his activities as a photographer with a new assistant. Meanwhile, Kate went back to school in the next semester. She then met Charles to catch up. Here, Kate said that she would not live with Charles anymore because she had found an apartment elsewhere. After that, they continued their casual conversation. That night, Kate received news that Patrick had been in an accident. Unfortunately, Patrick did not survive and died.
You're my first call when I have...
She went home to attend the funeral and brought Patrick's ashes to church. In the midst of the mourning, Colin came to offer his condolences. They then made up and decided to take a walk in the forest behind the house. The tragedy really grieved Kate's parents more than Kate felt. Here, Colin tells her that he rushed to fly to Kate's city after hearing about Patrick's death. On the other hand, the tragedy actually made them able to talk about the relationship more casually. While walking, Colin and Kate tried to figure out what they had been through. He felt that so far they had spent time talking about each other's work and school. They also only discussed the bad things they had done to each other, but did not talk about the good things that happened in their relationship. Until a tragedy like this happened, and Colin could see more clearly what was lacking in their previous relationship, it turned out that he would feel worse if he wasn't with Kate.